Boy, oh boy, what day is it? It is Monday, November 3rd. Monday, November 3rd. We here, 345 Sportsman on the podcast. We are now recording. We got the Buzzsprout promo on your page. You can read it yourself. For the audio, if you're watching on video, this is where you get the audio from the Buzzsprout link there that takes you to the page. Barb Jones, 345, man. We had a great past week of sports. We had the World Series. We had basically the start to the NBA season, and we have a lot of football going on. So how y'all doing? Thanks. Here's all the social medias above, the YouTube over there in the corner. Which are the YouTube shorts are doing well. I upload the highlights to my podcast to YouTube and the shorts, the YouTube shorts, and they do the views do real well. Same thing with the TikTok above. That's the link to the TikTok 3_4_5_ sports.talk. And there's the X above. I don't use my X as much just because I don't fucking like that shit, man. Thanks everybody for watching. The people that do watch, thanks everybody. TikTok is really the most active, and the YouTube is starting to become more active too. Really enjoy the YouTube Shorts section. We're just gonna run down some NFL here. Me give you some opinions. My Colts lost yesterday to the Steelers. That was a good game. Wasn't close at first. Ended in a close game. Some other football yesterday. We're gonna start out with the Bengals here. Just want to say a couple things about this game. First of all, just this is it's real funny because before the season started, first of all, Trey Hendrickson didn't play in this game, so there was no Trey Hendrickson, who is clearly the best player on the Bengals defense. So your best defensive player is not playing. My point about this Bengals and Bears game is the lack of defense. The defense was just absolutely horrendous. You got a 47-42 point game. The Bengals defense gave up 576 total yards. I'm sorry, 576 total yards the Bengals defense gave up. The Bears defense gave up 495 yards. So the Bears defense didn't play much better, but they played well enough to win the game. Because the Bengals gave up that last second pass to Colston Loveland or whatever. Yeah, Colston Loveland for that last second TD. The thing about this for me is, yes, both teams played bad on defense, but one team is 5-3 and one team is 3-6. So, the team that's 5-3, they won yesterday. So yeah, both teams had a horrible defensive game, but it mattered more so for the Bengals, who ended up crumbling on defense on that last little drive from the Bears and ended up losing the game. And my whole point in this is that before the season started, everybody said, "Oh, you paid T. Higgins, you paid Jamar Chase." They still have yet to pay Hendrickson whatever he was asking in full. I think they tagged him or whatever they did for this year, but they have yet to give him his full amount that he was asking for. Could he have made a difference this game? Who knows? But probably at least in a little bit. But the thing for me is everybody knew this defense was going to be bad, and here we are, 3-6. They just gave up 47 points. There's no real, they still haven't paid Trey Hendrickson at all. So you gave up 47 points. You still haven't paid the man, the only man who makes your defense any kind of good at all. So, I would expect a lot of defensive players to get drafted in the draft, this next draft next year. Otherwise, 3-6, I don't know if you're gonna dig yourself up out of that hole with Joe Flacco up at the QB position. Yesterday was a much needed win to keep them closer to 500. I don't think this season is going to turn out well for the Bengals at 3-6, and I think they have a lot of work to do on defense. Clearly, everybody knew that before the season started. The Bengals knew that, and they ignored it because they wanted to keep T. Higgins. And they didn't even pay the one guy who is good on their defense. So, a lot of work for the Bengals to do here, clearly on the defensive side of the ball. And the offensive players expressed their, Jamar Chase and Chase Brown expressed their frustration with the defense yesterday, which is not usually a thing. Players usually don't blame the offense or the defense. They say we as a team messed it up. But yesterday, the offensive players were angry with the defense, and as they should be. And that's all I have to really say about the Bengals. But I would expect a lot of defensive additions to happen this offseason because the defense needed corrected. They ignored it, and here we are at 3-6 mainly because of the defense. The Colts and the Steelers yesterday. This right here, you just gotta lift your cap to the Steelers defense. Daniel Jones, 1 TD, 3 interceptions. All you can do is just lift your cap to the Steelers defense. They played well. They played well at home. They made Daniel Jones look like the Daniel Jones from the New York Giants. It is what it is. The only situation between this and say like the Bengals losing yesterday is the Bengals are 3-6 and the Colts are 7-2. The Colts even have a better record still than the Steelers. You can't win every game. And that's all I have to say about really the Steelers played excellent defense, 3 turnovers. They caused with the total amount of 6 turnovers, 3 fumbles. I was about to say it was 6, 3 interceptions and 3 fumbles lost, 6 turnovers. So let's look at it from this perspective. The Steelers played an excellent defensive game, and they won by they caused 6 turnovers, and they won by 7 points. So in theory, one less turnover, 1 or 2 less turnovers, and the Colts could have tied up, went to overtime, maybe possibly won the game. So as bad as the Colts played yesterday, they only lost by a touchdown. So good game from the Steelers, especially defensively. And that's mostly what I want to say here. 6 turnovers. No team is going to win a game with 6 turnovers. 3 fumbles and 3 interceptions, you're losing that game. You can't win them all. It would be a lot heavier blow if the Colts were worse. But, every team loses. Teams don't go undefeated. This is the second loss. You can't win them all. As simple as that. The Steelers protected their home field. The defense stood tall, and they did not crumble. And so move on to the next game. Simple as that. Good game from the Steelers. Move on to the next game. I'm not, I don't like the Steelers. I'm not a fan of the Steelers. I don't like them. But I can recognize when a good game is played. I'm a Colts fan. Good game from the Steelers. A really good game defensively. Colts play the Falcons next, who, have not been terrible. So that's another game that needs to have some focus. JJ McCarthy came back and got a win over the Lions. Impressive win. I'm not a fan of JJ McCarthy because he's from Michigan, clearly. But good, I can recognize when a good win is a good win. This is a good win. You come back from injury, and this is your 3rd NFL game you have played, and you beat the Lions when they're on a roll. This is a good win. More so a testament also to Minnesota's defense holding the Lions to 24 points. McCarthy, he manages to accumulate TDs with low yardage. I noticed that about him. He only threw for 143 yards. He threw for 143 yards and still got the win, with Jared Goff throwing for 284 yards and losing. He threw for 2 TDs, 143 yards, and still got the win. And it's not like he rushed to replace him. He only ran for 12 yards and got the TD rushing too. It was a quarter QB scramble TD. So he runs for 12 yards, throws for 143, and beats the Lions. That's the part that's eye-popping is that he didn't produce a lot of yardage and still beat the Lions. And I think a lot of that is a testimony to Minnesota's defense. Minnesota's defense played a huge role in beating the Lions, but you can't beat them without your QB. And he produced 3 TDs and beat the damn Lions. That's wild. You know, that's wild that he could throw for 143 and still win like that with Goff doing everything he can and almost throwing for 300 yards, 284 yards, and 2 TDs and no interceptions and lose. That's crazy. But the run game got stifled. Minnesota's run defense, Jahmyr Gibbs, 25 yards. David Montgomery, 40 yards. So Minnesota's run defense stood up and did not break. And that's more so what won the game for the Vikings. But good win. Great win from McCarthy. The Vikings have their QB. If you're beating the Lions, that's a good ass win right there. World Series. What do you have to say about the World Series, man? The Game 7 is probably the greatest game that most of us have seen. A lot of people said that it was that 2016 with the Cubs and Cleveland was also a really good World Series. But this one right here was probably the best that I've ever seen. Especially going into extra innings, the home runs and extra innings and all this stuff, man, just made it a perfect ending to the season. If every World Series could be like this, I would be a very, very happy camper. Definitely beat the one last year with Dodgers and Yankees. I'm no Dodgers fan. I actually probably would have preferred the Blue Jays to win it. But I enjoy just watching what I saw. Very entertaining, and that's what baseball is supposed to be. The people who didn't watch it because they don't like the Dodgers or whatnot, you missed out on probably the best World Series you're ever gonna watch. Extra innings, Game 7, very, very historic defensive plays. Rojas throwing out, throwing that ball to home plate. The home run from Rojas to tie it, and the home run from Will Smith to win it. The game was just perfect. And it was a perfect ending to the season. I couldn't believe Shohei was even starting pitching because the guy just does everything. And I was thinking to myself, like, y'all don't have someone else to start tonight? But hey, it ended up working. So Dodgers won again, and man, they can win again. So let's get that in our heads before we move on. They can win it again. All them guys are still gonna be there. No one's leaving and putting the team in any kind of danger. As a matter of fact, the Dodgers have so much money they might bring some other people in. So, Kyle Tucker or something. Don't be surprised if you see Kyle Tucker as a Dodger. So they can do it again. I think we're about to get, how the Patriots were with football. We could be coming into Dodger championship fatigue because this roster can turn right around and do it again, man. So that's all I got to say about that. But it was definitely one of the greatest things I've ever seen, baseball-wise. Game 7 was. I want to talk about the Lakers real quick. The Lakers are winning games without LeBron James. And so this is for Lakers fans, not me. I don't even really like saying good things about the Lakers because I'm a Clippers fan. But this, as a Lakers fan, is what you want. You got Luka. They are showing you what life is without LeBron. They're winning games. Who would have thought that Reeves and Luka would have made a potent backcourt, but somehow it has. They're scoring damn 60 points together. So who would have thought that, that would have turned out that way. They bring over Ayton to shore up the center position. I think the only hole they have here is the position, the small forward position when LeBron leaves. And for me, I thought that drafting Connect, I don't think Connect wants to be on the Lakers anymore. And that's one thing I want to bring up real quick. Dalton Connect was drafted, and then they tried to trade him away his rookie year. And ever since that moment, he has not played well for the Lakers. They got him coming off the bench, giving him 12 minutes. Your first round draft pick, you're giving him 12 minutes. I don't think Dalton Connect and the Lakers have a good relationship. And I think it's because they tried to trade him away. And so I think that I think that you might still see him get traded away because I just don't think it's working. I think that the relationship was fractured during them because hell, you just draft me and try to trade me away. That gives me an impression that you don't want me here. And he was forced to come back and play for them. And I just don't think that's going to be repaired. I don't think that relationship's going to be repaired. And basically what I'm saying is I think the Lakers might need to draft or find another small forward type position to fill up LeBron's position when he's done. This is probably his last year, who knows. But Dalton Connect was supposed to be that position, and I think they ruined the relationship. So that's the point that I'm getting at here. But good win last night versus Miami. Luka's been wild this year, and so I think that him and Austin Reeves combined together can take the Lakers possibly somewhere if they fill in the pieces. Cooper, just before we get off here, Rookie of the Year race. Everybody, was thinking Cooper Flag had it in the bag. VJ Edgecomb is currently the Rookie of the Year. If the Rookie of the Year had to be selected today, VJ Edgecomb, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 50%. Cooper Flag, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 37%. Now, I will say that these numbers will go up most likely when Kyrie Irving comes back because Dallas doesn't have a point guard. They're running with D'Angelo Russell, so who's a point guard, but they need a real point guard. These numbers will probably increase when Kyrie Irving returns. But, VJ Edgecomb does have Tyrese Maxey, so he has somebody who can help him move the ball, etc. Dallas is kind of void of that right now. But right now, the Rookie of the Year race is not even close. VJ Edgecomb by a mile. He's averaging 7 more points a game. So it's not even close. And unless Cooper Flag starts balling all of a sudden, and unless VJ Edgecomb falls off, this is not a close Rookie of the Year race. Cooper Flag is beating him in one category in rebounds by 1.5 rebounds. VJ has more points than him, more assists than him, and is shooting at a way better percentage. So Cooper Flags better start balling or something if he wants Rookie of the Year. Burb Jones, 345. That's it. Thanks everybody for watching. We're going to get out of here. It is Monday. So I actually have to go do real life work, which sucks. Yeah. We gone. Here's the Buzzsprout again, man. There's a link if you want to go download the audio episodes. This will be on the audio. And that's all. I'd also like to thank my doggies for not barking today. Thank y'all so much for not making me start the podcast over. Very smooth podcast. Brought to you by Burb Jones, 345 Sports, and the doggies. We gone.